Smart. All right, we are back for another episode of Automotivated, and I'm here with my favorite co-host, JB. How are you, JB?
Your favorite cohort?
We
Is
already
it
talked
that
about it.
painful?
The holiday is coming up, and our heads all over the place. But I think we have some pretty powerful thoughts we want to start our show off with today.
Yeah, I mean, we've decided we're going to talk about training. And you know what? I remember there's a couple of quotes that I think are really important. That's going to kind of round up everything we're about to talk about. So, first off, it's by Peter Drucker. And he says that if you think training is expensive, try ignorance. And a key piece of that, think about that. If you have a technician that uses a test light still and hits one circuit, it can do all sorts of very costly damage. So
Mm-hmm.
ignorance can be very expensive. Matter of fact, it can kill them. But anyway, and here's one that's really industry specific by Henry Ford. He says the only thing worse than training your employees and having them leave is not training them and having them stay. Think about that. And that's Henry Ford, and he's one of the people that gave us the field that we're in.
Very powerful. And
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting. We are at this time where, in the United States, we have Thanksgiving coming up, and I think there's a lot to be thankful for this year. And I think our perspectives have changed. And I know, looking at us, the teams that we work with, the shops that we work with, I think it's very important to be thankful for your team this year. And while we've had this chance to slow down, which has been tough for a lot of our shops, that doesn't mean your team should slow down. That is a pivot in what it is that you're doing in the day to day. But that's time to reinvest in your team, reinvest in yourself. So that way, when things start to pick up, you're more efficient, you're more productive, and you're just more profitable at the end of the day.
Exactly right, Shannon. The thing here, too, is not only think about that training now, but keep it going when things pick up again, because now you want to take advantage. I mean, we're in the holidays, too, as you just mentioned, and things are going to slow down. And what are you going to do at that time? Well, if you're standing around having a coffee, having a cigarette or whatever it might be, do that in front of a screen and start learning something, because you want to invest in yourself. There's no way you can be working on cars today without some kind of training. And if you have the time to do it, I think it's the best time to do it when you can.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, one of the things that stop a lot of people is because they realize that, when things are busy, they don't have the time and they don't want to lose the money to have somebody train. And that's a little far-sighted or nearsighted, I should say, because you're so involved in what it's going to cost you right now in time and money, but you never think about the long term. And what I mean by that is, how much time are you losing because maybe your advisors don't know how to use your management system? How much productivity is your technician missing because they're not quite doing things the way they should? What about the opportunities from every inspection? Are we following through with these opportunities and making them go, getting the most out of them? And even comebacks. How many comebacks do you see are just plain, oops, I didn't know that, and things of that sort? And all those items there are what you're paying for training that you're not doing now.
Absolutely. And I think that's what I loved most about your last quote that you said. How much is it costing you if they stay? If your team isn't working in an efficient manner or doing things wrong, or and I think this is also one that a lot of people also forget about, don't realize the resources and the tools are available. So not only are they not trained on them, they don't know that they exist. And as business owners, things get busy. You're looking at new ways to continuously progress your shop, but is that translating down into your entire staff? Do they know what's available? Do they know what resources that they have? And that ignorance portion of it really does come into play with so many things.
That is so true. And you already mentioned how things have kind of slowed down in some circumstances because of the whole COVID thing. But here's the other side of that coin. We haven't traveled this year. We haven't traveled much at all since March. But here's what's happening is that a lot of these shows, Vision, Pave, a number of them that are all coming up have gone virtual. Apex. And the crazy thing about this is most of these shows would cost you a lot of money to send somebody to get training. Well, many of these things are now free. We're near next to free. So and a lot of people don't realize that this explosion of online training has happened. And like you said, they're not taking advantage of it because they just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully with us sharing what we're talking about here, some people have they'll start looking around and seeing what's out there for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And now, JB, one of my questions that I have for you, just as far as tactical things that shop owners should take away from this specific Automotivated episode, what areas should they be looking to train their team in? And I know that's probably a broad question, but what should they be looking at now and focusing on, especially going into the new year where there's some new momentum, there's new goals, it's a fresh start, especially when the 2020 has come to an end. There's definitely going to be that sense of eagerness and motivation, and let's start this new year off with a bang. Where should they start their training now?
Well, I always believe in looking at the basics. All right. And when we're talking about training, a lot of people think you're only talking about technicians, but here's the thing. Let's talk about everybody that's part of the service process. How about the advisors? When was the last time your advisors were shown how to use the management system that you're working on? We have found in our travels that people don't know they use 10% of the management system and the other 90% is not being used. And you're paying for the whole thing, and all that other 90% can be helping you. So I'm saying look at those basic things that you're not doing right now. And then your technicians, I mean, everything is electrically based. And if your technicians don't have a good foundation in basic electricity, that's going to be a problem because a very simple mistake can be very costly on one of today's vehicles. So I always say look back at the basics and see where you are, and maybe have somebody stand back and look at your whole operation and ask you why you're doing certain things, because that sometimes is that's a great thing too, because we get so much into our day-to-day business that we forget.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, I think those are all really great takeaways. JB, is there anything else that you want to add just to motivate? I know we're automotivated here, but what can you do to really just motivate these shops going into the new year? Is there anything else you want to leave them with?
Holy cow, 2020 is almost over. So take what you can from it. There's good stuff here and run with it. I mean, the training example, the free training is continuing into the new year.
Yep.
All right. So get a look out there, get on the internet and do a search for all these different groups that are having training coming up and take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Well, JB, I know we're both automotivated here. We hope that all of our shops are really motivated to get their training intact, go into 2021 strong. For all of those who are celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, we wish you all a very, very happy holiday. And we will be back the last month of the year in December with some new episodes. I know we have a very busy December, so we will be back with some new episodes, but we want to hear some of the best ways that you train your team. What's been successful? What types of strategies do you use? What engages your team the most? Let us know down below what is going on at your shop. We want to know so that way we can share it with our shops as well. But until next time, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you soon.
And also be automotivated to eat all you can.
Oh, yeah. There might be less people at the table this year, but it doesn't mean there's less food.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.